say birds or dinosaurs, and I was like, yeah, we do say that, dude. And but I think she was saying that to be because she was messing around. But anyway, we started talking about because I guess she didn't believe it, and I was just showing her like in Australia, like if you really look at cassowaries, dude, if you really just like observe cassowaries, like I don't know how you can't see like they're behaving almost exactly like I mean they look still like dinosaurs almost completely 100%.
How'd
It's
you know
crazy.
what dinosaurs look like?
Well, I mean the way they depict them and they what they say they are. They say these like these large, you know.
So are you with the rhinoceros skin theory or the feather theory, the new one?
I think those aren't mutually exclusive, right?
Well, I believe they are because if they descended from birds, right? So I believe they're saying now that all the dinosaurs had feathers.
The other way
I
around, the
could
birds
be wrong
descended
on
from
that one.
them. Yeah, birds descended from them. Yeah, but you're saying that they either had to have this thick rhinoceros style skin or they had to have feathers, but I don't think that's mutually. Like if you look at a cassowary has basically got both.
Yeah, but they added the feathers, right? First they thought it
Yeah,
was like, yeah, like look at Jurassic Park.
yeah, yeah, right. There's no
All
feathers.
those,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah it's a modern, updated, uh, I guess theory you'd say.
Well,
But
yeah,
I
they found one rock with feathers on it, and then they said, oh, "Wait a minute, yeah,
is that the full extent to where that idea came from? Because I do know that there's a lot of
yeah."
the
There's a
evidence.
fossil. They found a fossil with traces of feathers on it, like clearly seen. You know how a fossil looks like you have the
Uh,
outline of the creature, and clearly showed feathers on it.
right.
You know, in the shale deposits.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the assumption comes from just the general idea of the birds being descended from them. I mean that kind of would indicate. I mean that would suggest to me also that you know at least the most closely related ones must have had feathers as well.
Or they could have just found the bird.
Yeah, they could have found a bird, but
Yeah.
the evidence is not so much in that fossil. I don't believe. I think that most of the evidence is in the bone structure and in the like sort of the hip evolution. Like you can look at certain bones of certain animals and see you know what they've descended from
They
based
found
on.
a bird with teeth and claws on the hands, and they started saying, "Hey, this
Yeah.
isn't quite a bird."
The hips don't lie, man.
So the hips don't lie. That kind of evidence is pretty like when paleontologists and then zoologists stuff like that when they look at stuff like that it's pretty conclusive. When you see two animals distant apart but they have like the um, same general bone structure or uh, you can see um, where the evolution in the bone structure came from.
So if they were to find which one is it? Is it a platypus that lays an egg, a mammal?
Uh-huh.
If they were to find that, what would they say that it came from a chicken? Let's
Platypuses
say they
came
would
from
find a
chickens. No,
fossil.
why would they say that?
Well,
No,
let's
you
say
see
they found a
clearly
fossil
mammalian
of a pregnant.
structures.
Sorry.
I said, when you look at a platypus, you see clearly mammalian structures on it and stuff like that. You wouldn't say it's a bird. It wouldn't. It doesn't have anything in common with a bird, except for
Yeah,
it
but how
lays
about
eggs.
if they would find one with a female with an egg in it? Let's say they found the fossilized. What would they think?
They would say, let's say this is the very first time they find anything like this on Earth. They'd say we found a new kind of life form.
Mm-hmm. But by
And look at
their
this.
way of thinking,
It's
wouldn't
a
they?
it's a mammal that has eggs. A proto-mammal. A mammal.
Yeah, but with your way of thinking, wouldn't they say, "Look, the chicken is turning into this now,"
No,
right?
I don't think
no.
they would thought of chicken.
That's way beyond chicken, dude.
Aren't they? No, never mind. They're not marsupials. I forget what
They're
they're
just
classified.
guessing, guys. They're just guessing, man. That's all they're
No,
doing.
man. No.
No, they're not guessing.
The moment they see a hair follicle or hair, they know it's a mammal.
And if they find a mammal with an egg in it, what are they going to say?
Well, I mean, like the platypus. I mean, that's what make them sort of unique in that way. Is they're sort of they have features of more than one. What do you call that? Like not just mammals, but they have features of because they don't grow their babies inside of them, right? I think that's
Right.
like one of the main features of a
I
mammal.
mean, they're marsupials, right?
Yeah,
That's
an
what I
egg.
thought for a second, but I don't think
No, a
so.
marsupial is different. Marsupial lays a little version of the baby, then it crawls up and it finds the nipple inside the pocket. That's a whole different thing.
Okay.
It's like they have the gestation, not gestation. That gestation.
So a platypus just poops out like a pancreas with a little baby attached to it and just fucks
I
off.
thought they lay eggs.
An egg, bro, an egg.
Yeah, so they lay eggs
Like a
outside their
chicken.
body.
Like a chicken.
Well, no, like any other, like all the things that lay eggs, man. Amphibians, reptiles, birds. It's not just chickens, man.
Yeah, so imagine if they would have found that in the fossil record. They would have said, "Oh, here's an example of a chicken of evolution. Look at this. We have a mammal with an egg in it. Look."
They wouldn't have said, "Here's an example of evolution." Everything they find is an example of evolution.
Sure.
No, but don't you think if evolution is correct, though? If evolution is correct, then it's not bizarre that you'd find something like that because if evolution is correct, then all things sort of gave birth in this way that lizards and birds do, and mammals sort of have this different way of doing it, where they do it inside their body. Even
Yeah, shouldn't
marsupials
we
would
have
be sort of a cross in between.
Yeah, agreed. Shouldn't we have a fossil record of that, of a cross species?
Yeah, we
One
don't.
species
It's not a
turning.
we're all cross species, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's an example of this sort of in between.
No, it's not. And I just told you that they would use that as an excuse, bro. Come on now. It's not. It's a living thing that we know that is not evolving into anything, bro.
Yeah,
I just
no,
told you that.
everything,
You used it.
everything's in
You ran
between,
with it.
man.
Essie,
Osho, you ran with it, bro.
Essie, but if I was you, I don't think my biggest beef would be the fact that life can change form and shape and size. Because at the end of the day, like our DNA isn't that different from that of a banana or a dog or a jellyfish. It's just it expresses itself differently. Like my main argument or point of contention would be this idea that life came from nothing. That's where I would.
Agreed. Yeah. That's one
Yeah,
of them. Yeah.
that's the hill I would die on. But this idea that a dog in the future can become a cat, I wouldn't find that too hard to believe because we all made of the same things, right? All we
Yeah,
have
Yeah,
but
is
but would
that's
you
not
want to see proof? Would you want to ask for proof or just blind belief?
that's not a claim
see,
of evolution, though.
I'll definitely want to see proof. But if someone can't provide me proof, it's okay. What I really want proof for, and I won't accept not getting proof, is this idea that life just sprung up randomly in a little furnace that was ejecting certain chemicals into water, and this was the perfect conditions for life to just spontaneously start for no reason. There was no reason for life to start, but it
Yeah.
started.
But
That's
neither of those
I'm with
that's
you on
what
that,
I
claims
don't
bro.
of
I'm
like.
with you on
evolution,
that.
though.
Yeah, that's the idea I don't like that a lot of biologists and evolutionists have.
But neither of those two claims you said are claims of evolution, though. Dogs will turn into
Yeah,
cats
yeah.
one day, or that life
I
sprang
know.
out.
I know. That's what I'm trying to tell Essie. That is, his beef shouldn't be with evolution. It should be with this idea that life sprang out of nothing for no
All right.
reason.
But can't I have both beefs? Because I
You
do
can
You
have
have
can,
both
you
beefs.
can, you can. But the
two
other one
types
is the
of
easier
beef.
beef to have. Evolution, you're gonna get pushback like this from Kosho, but the idea that life for no reason sprang from nothing, I don't think Kosho's gonna have answers for that.
No, but even with the
Those are
second
those are
part,
completely different
he has
claims.
no answers. Because I've been asking for years, show me a chain of something in the water that breathes water and just sprouts legs and lungs. I want to see it. If you show me that, you win. But there's
I'm
not
sorry.
one instance
I
in the
think
whole world, in all of paleontology, there's not one instance of this.
Yeah, there is.
Where? Show it.
I've shown them to you.
No, you
They have
haven't,
the first.
Costco.
They have they consider the first um like land creatures or whatever.
Yeah, but you showed cartoons of this happening. I
No, they
want to
have
see
fossils and shit.
fossils. I want to see skeletons. I want to see proof.
And I don't know why you would need proof of a specific like one specific change. It's like there's lots of changes all the time. So I don't know why you're like the one thing that you would need is this one specific change, or
Not
this
one,
one.
anyone. Pick any animal, pick any species. Show me it coming from the water and going to land, and you
Why
win.
would it be any species when it probably happened? Not, and it probably wasn't multiple species where that happened.
Don't you find it odd that there's no evidence of this?
No,
Just
there
a
is
story?
evidence of it.
No,
There's
where?
evidence of animals today. Like I said, there's a frog. There's a frog that I know that lives, like its whole life underwater, basically.
Yeah, so?
Yeah, that's a species of frog. Most frogs don't do that.
Do you have the record of that frog before it became a frog? What it was before that?
This frog is still, even as a frog, that stays its whole life underwater.
So what?
Like I said, most frogs don't do that.
Okay.
So this
And
is
does
a
that
frog
prove evolution?
that doesn't surface. Maybe it does
So what?
surface.
Most
I forget
mammals
exactly the
lay.
details of the frog.
Most mammals give birth to live babies, but some lay eggs. So what?
Yeah, this is evidence of an in between of someone who's still has the old ways, and obviously the ones that the other mammals that you see, they don't lay eggs, right?
Uh huh.
The other mammals that you see, they don't lay eggs, right?
Right.
Right. So if you see one that does, that kind of tells you, wait a minute, you look back in the ancestry of all these other animals, it's very possible that they came from maybe a single species or maybe several species where they were sort of in between, and then maybe like marsupials is kind of another in between, from going from creatures that lay eggs outside their body to having completely inside the body gestation.
And there's no fossil record of this whatsoever?
No, there's there's record of it in real life. There's animals that still do it. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the chain of evolution from the water to the land. Can you provide that?
I know
Yes or
you're
no?
asking
So
for a very specific chain when all you need is to see that it happens. If you're not gonna expect to see every single event.
What resolution do you want to see this? Do you want to see every event? Because I mean,
No,
fossilization is
just
pretty
pick
rare.
an animal.
Ultimately, fossilization is pretty damn rare.
Exactly.
So you're not going to get like the mom and the dad times a million in a straight line, showing you every single change that took place. It's not going to happen. You're going to get punctuations, periods where you notice of the one lucky fossil that got stored in every 1,000 generations.
So it doesn't strike you as odd that we don't have any of that at all? Zero?
We have lots of that in the 1,000 generation category.
No, we don't. We don't have anything solid evidence from the water coming to land. That's all
That's
theory.
because you
That's
don't
all
like the
cartoons.
1,000th generation problem.
That's your problem, not mine.
It's your problem because you're the one who's asking for it.
No, it's your problem because you believe in this fanciful story. I don't. So what I think is every creature was made the way it is. It didn't evolve into anything. That's what I think. That's what I see. Now you
I
guys
think what
come
you
up
would
with a
have to
different
show
story.
them is why there is these time periods where creatures existed in the past and don't exist anymore, and they didn't exist before. So you'll see in the oldest strata of rock, you won't see any land animals type of thing. Then you will see land animals, but they'll all be these fish-looking things. Then, as you get higher up in the strata, you now get a variation in the fish-looking things, and many different types of things that are on land. So
Well, that could be
if they were
explained.
all created at the same time, they should all be interlaced in between each other.
Well, that could be explained with natural phenomena like natural disasters, not enough food, overpopulation. I mean, that could be explained. Extinction could be explained.
I don't know, because basically what you'd be talking about is you need to have there's going to be death in all generations. So if all species exist at the same time, you would expect this, and some die off as time goes on, like we do see. You've got less species in total than we had in the past. So if you had, over time, you have all these species, you should have one layer that has all the species. Then, as you get into the newer layers, those species should start to dwindle. But we don't see that. What we see one species, a layer, a new species, a new whole animal kingdom. And that,
Okay.
a new entire animal kingdom. Yeah.
Well, that kills your theory then. You're
No.
doing injustice to your theory, because where's the transition between all these layers? You're just killing your own theory, bro.
I don't think so. I think
We have a
that's
whole
actually
new set
demonstrating
of
the theory.
animals, you're saying, right?
That's demonstrating the theory. It definitely killed yours.
How do you figure? You're saying that there was total destruction and a whole new set of organisms came into play, right? So where's
No,
the
I'm looking through time. So, like, if I go a million years at a clip through the strata of soil, I will see. Actually, let's say several million years through the strata, and I will see massive changes over that time period. As you go back in time, you'll see that there's these transitions that do seem to come together. That's the whole. When you look at the whole tree of life, you can see this pattern repeated over and over again.
Okay, so you just heard what you just said, right? So
Yeah.
by your own admission, there's no evolution there. By your own description of what you just said right now, there's no evolution there.
All right, you don't understand English then, or at least I'm not expressing myself well, because I said exactly that. Sorry, dude.
Here, I got one for you guys. Look at that riddle. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Tyson thinks he solved it. He tweeted here, to settle it once and for all, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg came first. It was laid by a bird that was not a chicken.
But that's an easy one to solve. I don't know why people don't get that one, right? Chicken or the egg? If the egg came first, right?
Yeah.
What sat on it to incubate it?
That's what I'm saying. Obviously, the chicken came first, but he's trying to do this idea that the egg came first because it was laid by a bird that wasn't a chicken. Well, what was it then? So if another chicken laid a chicken egg, can you show me this another chicken?
Their whole evolution is just a fairy tale.
On a different server, the dude told me it was a dinosaur. A dinosaur laid a chicken egg. And I'm like, how does that work for your natural selection? He said a raptor, a relative of the raptor. I've seen Jurassic Park. Okay, raptors are scary, right? They're fast. They make them seem like they have some sort of intelligence behind them. They open doors and shit. I've seen chickens.
You do know that that's a movie, right?
Yeah, but based on...
I just wasn't sure because you seem a little confused.
Yeah, based on some science that they think they did.
No, there's no science that they did that said that raptors were smart.
No, I've seen there is a fossil of a raptor opening a door, so I think maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Well, you'll make fun of that, but you won't make fun of the whole cockamamie thing, right? You'll make fun of a raptor opening a door, but
let me find it. because it was like Don Patet had said that if the raptor wasn't killed off by an asteroid, that would be we all be lizard people. They would
It might
evolve
be.
into humans. So
Might
yeah,
be.
they're saying that they were like the highest level of intelligence.
Well,
One
they
has
try,
to
they,
really
they,
understand that there is no evolutionary goal of intelligence, so there's no guarantee that they would have ever become intelligent beyond a certain point. It
they just
depends on
have
what stage of the
sophisticated
evolutionary
hunting.
event.
Okay, so not raptor. It's a raptor-like dinosaur called the
So if you look at
how do we
cassowaries,
pronounce that?
cassowaries aren't pack animals at all. They're like they live in solitary mostly. Um, but when you hear about the attacks and you you just see them in action, they to me look exactly like you would expect a dinosaur to look like. It's like I can imagine coming across one in the wild, and it really does seem like a modern dinosaur. I mean, emus too to some regard, but
I think some of the more interesting things are when you go into the genes in like a chicken and stuff, and you expose them to certain conditions, you actually start them to express teeth and other recessive traits, which says it to me says it right in there. That animal is its former self as well.
well, if you look at a turkey, I mean, turkeys, a wild, especially wild turkeys, it's going to look a little bit more like that. I mean, I actually, I've sit there and studied chickens, and my parents when they used to have some land, some chickens and stuff, and you see the way the roosters are like, uh, really like controlling the hens and stuff like that, and just the way that, um, I don't know, there's just something other than chicken like. You know what I mean? It's like it's more than just a bird. Actually, all birds are like that. All birds just have a weird behavior to them that
So,
seems
Kosho,
alien
the
like.
$1 million question: has evolution stopped now?
No,
No.
I've told you,
No.
dude. I keep telling you over and over again that everything is in a phase of transition. And
Okay, so what are we gonna evolve into? Are we gonna evolve a USB port or
what?
antennas, or what are we gonna
Here's the other
evolve
thing.
into?
Somebody says about cats evolving into
USB.
dogs. Species don't evolve into other species. Okay, this doesn't happen. It's not that they evolve into species that like cats into dogs or something like
So
that.
there goes your whole theory
Species
of
evolve
evolution,
into new
Kosho.
species. New
Okay, so
species.
Kosho,
what evolutionary pressures do we have on us right now that restrict our ability to have kids? And just
Kosho, did you just hear what Kosho
thinking
said?
about the modern world, what do you think would be universal across the globe evolutionary pressure that's on man?
Yeah,
Moyo,
Pollution,
did you
maybe.
hear what Kosho just said, that we don't evolve into other?
Okay, that's
Other
what I'm
species,
saying.
as in
Oh, yeah, I
two
gotta take a
species that
look.
already exist. I
yeah.
said they evolve to new species.
Eugenics and social Darwinism. They did like mass sterilization of
Okay,
minority groups.
so but is that an evolutionary pressure that's felt across the world?
Yeah, it would have been right. It would have
No,
been
it
a
did not
complete.
would have been. We're asking what we're going to evolve into. So, trying to use today's information. Um, what pressures do you think are on us? It doesn't seem like intelligence is a major evolutionary pressure, so we're not going to become more intelligent. Let's see. Pollution would be like the one I could think of, but most of that kills us after procreation age, so I don't think that's going to be a huge evolutionary pressure, at least not yet. Um, I can't think of any way that you could determine right now based on the pressures that we have. Plus, we have the damn horrible problem of there is no segregation of populations anymore. So every time any kind of a trait might express itself, it's diluted into the entire population of Earth.
I think looking at humans and the future evolution of humans is not a good example because we've already we've already reached a stage in our cleverness where we can basically direct, the DNA and biology and stuff like that for the future, of our species. So probably very
Kosho,
difficult to.
Kosho, you killed. Sorry to interrupt, but you killed the whole evolutionary theory by saying that one species does not evolve into another. You realize
Yeah,
that, right?
I made it clear what I was saying, SC. Did you understand what I said?
Yeah, his
Maybe.
document, the Darwin did not include humans in his book.
Fair enough.
No.
Did
Yeah,
you
there was,
did you understand what I said though? SC.
so humans
I
don't
think I
evolve.
misunderstood you.
One species does not evolve to another species, meaning that one that already exists. So cats are not. No, if there's let's say chimps, you're not going to see chimps evolving into humans or something like that. These two
So how
species
did
already
fish?
exist.
How did
Okay.
fish come out of the water then?
What evolution says is that species can evolve and that you can speciate to the point where new species come out of. So you'll have two species where you had one, and you'll have a new species. From
That's incorrect.
others that you had.
What
You're
happened to
double
the single
speaking
celled
there.
organism? What happened to the single celled organism that everything spawned from, coming from this this primordial ooze? So you're debunking that right now?
Exactly
No,
that.
that's
Good
not.
one.
That's
Good
not
one, by
evolution.
All Kosho is saying, and he's explaining this really poorly, but what he's trying to say is that evolution will never have you evolve into a species that already exists today. You'll always make something new. It
So
won't
how
be a
did
Yeah,
cat
something
turning
crawl out of
into a
the ocean
dog.
and become a
It
land
will be a
mammal?
cat. That was that animal becoming something new. So it wasn't a fish turned into something that already existed. It turned into a land
No one's
mammal, which
saying that.
was something new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
no
that's
one's
what
even saying
Kosho is
that.
trying to say. And
And
I feel you guys.
adaptation is the necessary feature of your whole evolutionary paradigm, dude.
well,
So
not really.
what about that?
It's not adaptation as much as it is mutation.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
both
but
important.
a mutation doesn't necessarily mean that it's advantageous for the species' well-being. So it has to
Yeah,
be an
they're both important. You need this mutation which creates diversity. This
cancer's a
diversity,
mutation.
and then
Cancer's a
cancer
mutation.
is a mutation. It is,
So
but
when is that going to
it's
be
not
beneficial?
beneficial. It's not
Right,
all mutations are beneficial. Some work out, some don't.
right.
The
So
ones
it's
that
all
work
about
out,
adaptation. We can throw
that's
out the
why they're
mutation.
both important. They're both important. If there's no mutation, everything will be the same. And because we're all the same, we won't be able to adapt and differentiate. And if there's something that kills one of you, we're all going to be killed by it because we're all the same. Without this mutation, where one of us develops a gene or characteristic that allows us to survive this thing, killing everyone else. They're both important.
Neither of those is adaptation.
Cool story, man.
Yeah, I mean adaptation and
Can
random
you show me
mutation
one
are
animal?
important.
Can you show me one animal that's had an adaptation since we've been studying this?
Again, you said adaptation. I specifically said mutation. Somebody's saying that they're related, but no, I'm saying mutations. Mutations which are mostly benign, sometimes more often problematic, and very few and far between is advantageous. And in the cases where it's
So
advantageous,
we can dismiss mutation.
no, you don't dismiss it. This is the mechanism.
Not necessarily, no.
No, there's mutations in every reproductive cycle. So
Yeah.
there's not a question of do they happen, and there's not a question of that. They're mostly benign and sometimes bad, and very few times advantageous. It just happens that when they are advantageous, and they do make it more likely for you to have more offspring or live longer, so you can have more offspring, or both.
Show me one
And when
mutation
that does happen,
that's
it's
turned into an
obvious that
adaptation.
that gene is going to become more apparent in the future.
Show
The
me one
mutation that's
mutation
turned into
that's been an adaptation. I've
Keep
yet
bringing
to
up
see it.
adaptations.
yeah, that's a weird way to phrase it. You adapt to your changing environment.
Malaria,
So
malaria
cockroaches the size of
resistance.
dogs? Cockroaches
I mean,
the size of bugs.
didn't malaria resistance come from like medicine?
No,
Did we have a natural resistance?
no, there are some people who have malaria resistance.
Yeah, but that's a feature within
Oh,
our
okay.
defense system of our immunosuppressant defense system. So
No, actually, it's not. It's a completely different type of blood cell which causes the mutation to happen. It's not something that other people have. It is a mutation, a difference, a variation from the norm, not part of your immune system.
And if we lived in a world where we didn't have these advances in medicine, people that have this mutation Moyak is talking about would pass that on to their kids and they would survive malaria. And people that don't have this mutation wouldn't be able to survive malaria. And that is adaptation assisted
therefore, we came
by
from a
random
monkeyfish
mutation.
Oh no, you were asking for a question
Totally
and you
what
got your answer, so now you're going to go into your little straw man things.
What did
monkey
you say?
fish frog, bro. That's what you think we came from.
Monkey fish? Monkey fish frog.
I told
Well,
you,
Dar-